Good evening, everyone, and welcome to St. Andrews Technical High School Alumni Association Canada Chapter Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Farquharson. I'm the president of the chapter. Today in our podcast, we have Kenneth Jones and Mr. Keith Howell. But before we go into their introduction, I just want to welcome you all. Welcome to the program. Welcome the audience. Today, we'll learn more about our guests personally and professionally. But before we jump to that, just want to let you know that our website is www.STATHSCAN, that's STATHSCAN.com, and you can find out more information about us. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So let's just get to meet our guest, and Mr. Kaska Jones. I'll let him tell you about himself. We're here so you can hear from him and get to know him. So, Mr. Jones, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me as well.
Thank you. And our second guest,
everybody.
Good. Our second guest, Mr. Kenneth Howell. Welcome, Kenneth.
Hey, good day, man. Good afternoon to all the listeners there, and thank you for having us and expressing an interest in knowing about who we are and what the program is about. So, to say some more about myself than I will do.
Thank you. Yeah, so let's start off with you, Mr. Jones. You first, since you, tell us about yourself. Tell us who you are. What's your affiliation with Stats? I know you attended Stats, but tell us, what time period you attended Stats, when you graduated. Were you active in school? What kind of things you did in school? So we'll start off with you.
Well, good afternoon or evening again. I attended Stats 1992 to 95. Proud member of the HE 22, 32, and 42 clan of that time. I played basketball for Stats at 2 age group levels. Independent of that, I moved on to university, completed my degrees thereafter in the States at Virginia Tech and Barry. Actively, a businessman now, 4 children. I'm in family business, which is pharmacy, right, as well as services, bill payment and remittance. That is my core function and my day-to-day outside of obviously Stats football, which has become a very integral part of my life, and I've been active in this program since 2009, to be honest. I serve now as team manager, and it's been a journey, very proud one, if I may say so. I'm very respectful of the opportunities and the friendships and all the other good things that have come from me being a student and an alumni of Stats. My mom is also an alumni, class of 72 as well, and serves as now president of the local chapter of the alumni associations here in Jamaica. So from the personal side, that is my introduction.
Well, thank you, Mr. Jones. It's good to have you on the show, and let us know some more about you there. And we'll have some more questions for you, but we're gonna jump to Mr. Howell. We'll give you a time to just unmute yourself there. I put you on mute a little bit. So once you get to do that. So, Mr. Howell, tell us about yourself, the association with Stats. Did you attend Stats? And a little bit about your professional life.
Well, as you mentioned, Kenneth Howell is the name. I attended Stats from 1994 to 96. Unfortunately, I didn't get to play for Stats because the school that I left To come to start, I was supposed to play Manning Cup. And then when I got to start, I had to sit out a year. And the year when I was supposed to play, they did not enter. So here I am. But like you, I played some inter class competition. I also pursued a Bachelor of Science degree in Guidance and Counseling at the Michael University. I'm currently not in the classroom. I'm currently running some small business of my own, and mainly in the food industry and the service industry. I'm married with 2 kids, and of course, I'm the chairman for the entire football program done by Stats. A proud member of the Auto 1 and Auto 2 class. And my time at Stats, I've learned a lot, I've experienced a lot, and I've met tremendous friends that up until this day, 30 years later, we're still in communication. We're like, it was just like yesterday. So for me, that's it. I mean, as Kasia mentioned, football has become since 2015, as a matter of fact, part of our DNA. It's like we eat, sleep, breathe Stats football. And it is kind of pleasant and fulfilling to see where we're at now. And it only can get better as time goes by. So, for now, in a nutshell, that's who I am.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that introduction. And, I know Stats alum worldwide, support the football team. And, we look forward to the games. I know we had a game yesterday. We won 2-0, which is good. But we're gonna get some more into that later on. But I'm going back to you, Mr. Jones. Just want to go back to Stats there. So we know that you played some football at Stats, and you graduated. But in terms of teachers, most people have a teacher that meant something to them, a teacher that inspired them, a teacher that challenged them. Which teacher challenged you? Which teacher inspired you, pushed you beyond your limit, that you had to kind of step back and say, you know what, this teacher is right. I got to do something. I got to, button up my shoes. Which teacher would you say comes to mind, and what did that teacher do?
Well, in all honesty, I must speak to at that time, Principal Ms. Powell, Ms. Campbell, and the legend, Ms. Caroline Christie. If I am to most definitely point out those, I think the affiliation and the guidance that they provided, and not only support for myself, but 3 individuals that I think spent a lot of time and dedication, right, and showed a lot of value to the boys, especially, at the institution at the time, definitely help to steer discipline. We can, as youngsters, we find all kind of things to do that we probably shouldn't be doing, but they encouraged, proper deportment, attendance in class, attention specifically to school rules, some of the things that we are also hoping to achieve with our youngsters now, but if you ask those 3 persons, those 3 ladies, I should say, at the time, would have been very instrumental in my short time at Stats.
Thank you. I know that I came to Stats when Isaac Henry, last year, actually, my first year was his last year. He passed away during the summer. And then I had Mrs. Powell as my principal. I could tell you a lot more, but from Mr. Jones, just you mentioned that your mom is the current president of the Jamaica Alumni Association. That must be some added, I would say probably, stress to you, knowing that your mom is a past student and she probably told you about Stats, and here you are, as a student, how did that come across for you? Was there an additional pressure on you to do well?
There's always pressure. Very difficult woman to please, she sets very high standards that we can reach them, right, or attain, maintain is one thing, but as speaking from stats point of view, she is so indebted to the institution. I don't know that I can go a day, much less a week, or even have a general conversation that doesn't include some business of stats. Primarily, S.W. Isaac Henry is a human being I wish I had met, given the credos and, the accolades that she praises on that gentleman. But definitely, every time we do speak even independent of football, just the general happenings, and she asks a lot of questions, generally has some input, and speaks to where she would like to see, where she would like the school to be in all facets. Whether it is infrastructure, growth in academics, right? All the other things, and as we continue to grow, we're a young school, 60-something years old, right? Right. I know her ambitions and her wishes are as much as mine, or if not even greater, based on her involvement. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Mr. Howell, I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked, Mr. Jones there. Was there a teacher or teachers that had a lasting impression on you, kind of pushed you when you were trying to, step back and say, this is not for me, saw your potential, of great things you can accomplish, name such a teacher, and how did that teacher help you?
Well, for me, I was more like intrinsically motivated still, but the teacher that jumps out at me is Mr. Jarrett, who is my Arthur 1 teacher. Mr. Jarrett was just a figure that commands that respect. Whenever he's in the classroom or walking on the corridor, one will just have to buckle up and know that, hey, this is Mr. Jarrett pass, you have to go. It demands a high level of, punctuality, high level of deportment. Just the way how he's organized. If you were to go at the art class during that time, everything is so meticulous and organized. Everything is placed in a particular order. And the utter ease in which he explained the content to us for us to understand, it just make the class interesting. And for me, that was motivating enough, that was inspiring. His ability to organize, stay focused, keep us intact. Those are life values that I take with me. And up until this day, as Kaska said earlier, those are values that we want to pass on to the boys within the program. So for me, Mr. Jarrett, I met him a couple years later at Devon House. And it was like, yo, how are you going? And I was like, what are you doing now? And it's like, like we are friends now, but back then, it was a teacher that you don't play with. You understand? But he always keep us on our P's and Q's. And for me, that was a good thing. So he's my standout teacher.
All right, thank you. Yeah, we have those teachers. Can't get away from them, and realize that they are the best in store for us, and they knew that we could achieve. And attending such an institution like Stats, we always honor diligence and service. That's what we push.
Yeah. Let me share one more thing about Mr. Jarrett.
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett, he never eats his lunch during lunchtime. Never. And we always observe that. It's like always after lunch, during class, whenever he, give us some practical stuff or something to do when he finish, like 10, 5, 15 minutes in the class, he tends to eat. So I went up to him one day and said, Mr. Jarrett, why you always wait this late to eat a lunch? And he said, oh, well, I don't believe in eating hot food, and burn up my mouth, because regardless if you eat the food hot or cold, it goes down into your stomach at one temperature. I was like, okay then. But it's just that type of person, It's just different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I love those teachers. There's something always different about them. That's good. That's good. We're gonna kind of switch it up now and, you know, get to the Manning Cup team. You know, I know you guys, you know, played a game yesterday, you won 2-0. And I'm looking at last year's results compared to this year's result. You guys are you know, are superb. I think you guys would score at 46 goals, 44 goals, or 46 goals. Yeah, 46 goals, looking at my stats here. And you only conceded 2 goals so far this year. Last year, you know, it was like nine goals. But the good thing, what I like about the program is that it's going from strength to strength. And when you have dedicated men like you and the staff there that encourages the team, motivate the teams, and then the chapters, you know, we can organize and get some of the support that you guys need. We love to see that you guys are challenging every year for the Manning Cup trophy. And, you know, we've been absent for, you know, quite a number of years before that. But in terms of the team, what would you say are some of the challenges, you know, in managing the team that the team faces right now? Mr. Jones, you want to go first, or?
I will let Mr. Chairman go first on that one.
I mean, the challenges and the needs are awesome. There are many. But let me start by stating that one of our biggest, or if not our biggest challenge, is our feeding program. I mean, when oftentimes persons think of football and in their mind it's just a Manning Cup team. But as people need to realize, and other persons need to realize, that it is a program that consists of 3 different levels of teams: the under 14, the under 16, and the under 19. And at some point, all the competitions are running concurrently. But it means that at any given time, at some point in the competition, we have at least 80 boys to tend to provide meals, to provide, you know, hydration, to provide supplements, and to further step away from the feeding program, to provide equipment, boots, shin guards, you know, gloves, and then the medical aspect to it. You know, a young man might pick up an injury, have to send him to the physiotherapist. I mean, you know, there are social issues to behavioral problems. I mean, you know, affordability. You understand? We have to provide bus fare, lunch money at some point. You know, money to provide you know, back to school stuff, car keys, shoes, and the list goes on. You understand? So there's a lot of needs, and of course, resource persons. I mean, the program has grown tremendously since 2017, and it is outpacing the level of resource persons that are involved in the program. I mean, so wherever we can get persons to come on in and volunteer, give up their time, talent, and treasure, we will welcome it. So there's a lot of things, and Kaska can come on, step in now if you so wish. I just give you a broad aspect, and as from the manager's perspective, he will zoom in on particular areas in which he will speak to. So Jones.
Yes, Sir Farquharson. So yeah, it's the project, or you know, what the team or the programs require. You know, very capital intensive. Obviously, the results would indicate that we have the quality to compete, right? Ultimately, no. I mean, we at the Manning Cup level, we have set our goals to obviously win the title, are all 3 titles that would be available to us this year, right? But independent of that, as Mr. Howell says, yes, the program, or the time frame of the program would is 12 months a year kind of thing. Really, it's not just because it's football time now. We can, and when we say nutritional needs would take up a bulk of the costing, and where we always need support, right? The heaviest part of that would have been in our preparation for the summer camp for the Manning Cup team. You know, it's usually a very burdensome time capital intensive in terms of getting their food ready, equipment for that. We house them away from school. So that is lodging, field rental, practice games, just to name a few of the items, and that is never ever easy to achieve, or even if we have come out successfully out of those, from that, with the help of your chapter and others, and the other chapters as well, we have still not reached the apex that we want to reach in terms of what those camps, right, and all the preparation across all teams should look like, whether it is preseason, in the competition phase, and so on, right? So I would say we are probably 60% there, but there are no guarantees that it couldn't regress, right? And as we have this platform, as we progress with results, we also want to progress with those other needs, right? Right, and get more support,
That's good.
Yeah, the welfare aspect, as you know, you might know, right, very, very critical. As Mr. Howell mentioned, you're talking about back to school support. Those things like bus fare, but this is every day, every week, even outside of season. Medical, is a contact sport. We have to maintain outside of the coaching staff. We have to maintain an in-house physio, right, to at least indicate, injuries. We have support personnel that we can reach out to in terms of an off-site professional physiotherapist that operates, right, and has been very supportive of our program at Kaska. Dr. Lorenzo Garden is always with First Contact, Stats alumni, as you may know as well. In terms of more critical medical needs and so on and so forth. But, we're talking, it's a conversation we have every day, as I said, me and Mr. Howell and the rest of the team. There's not a day that goes by that we don't speak. I understand, I could be wrong, that there's somewhere a little below 1,400 students at Stats, somewhere closer to 800 boys, and this program has no less than 80 boys in it, which is 10% or somewhere close to that of the boy population at Stats, which would mean that the needs are Herculean some point when you add everything, when we're all competing at the same time, that kind of thing. So as you go, I concur with Mr. Howell on the nutritional needs. We have, obviously you can't play without footballs and football boots, we had to add new aspects that came at cost, to us in terms of a good playing surface at Stats. That was a request of the technical director for the program over the summer. We tend to be at our best when the surfaces are real good surfaces. Stats doesn't possess that, and that forced us to seek an alternative home game venue outside of school, down at Boys Town and Arnett Gardens for the TV game that we had already. And obviously the results justified the move. 5 from 5, can't complain.
Exactly. And those are very good things that the program needs. As you say, it's not just during football time or football season. It's a 12 months season, really. It's all year round season. And in terms of the nutritional need, I see that as one of the very apex of the needs that are there, because you got to take care of, you said, 80 boys at any time, part of the program. So as a chapter, I know we help as much as we can, but I'm going to ask each of you, if it's okay, we can post your phone number on our site so people can contact you directly if they need to. I know for some people here, they prefer, to contact you directly because the needs are there, right? And to run a successful program. It's not a professional program, but to me, it sounds like a professional program because you want it to be a professional program, right? And this is something that is dear to most alumni's heart. I know when the boys are playing and, and to reach this level, I see even currently the rating, they're rated number one in terms of the ranking, ranked number one, to go to the next round if the everything remains the same, they win the next game and at the top of the zone. But from what I'm hearing, these are genuinely great needs, and to have them fulfilled on a daily basis takes quite, I would say, some negotiation, maneuvering, marketing to get the funding needed. But I say you guys are doing a good job, and we're gonna continue to support you as much as we can. So we're here, and I'm encouraging everyone, listening and watching this program to do that. You can contact the Canada chapter or any chapter in your area, and we'll give you the contact number at the end of the program. But that's good to know. I know we touched on the program in terms of training, nutrition, transportation, equipment, but in terms of academics, do the boys have to maintain a certain academic standard to remain a part of the program? How does that work? Is there a standard that you guys set for each of the three teams that come under your management? Mr. Howell, you want to go first on that one?
Yeah, man. Well, definitely. In order for me to answer that question, let me bring you back to where we started. So, it is a committee that comprises of school leadership and past student. And in 2015, thereabout, before 2015, things was just fragmented. You have the people just giving from all angles, and then the then principal, Dr. Wilson, he spoke with Kaska, and he gave Kaska the mandate, just to formulate a committee that can restructure the football program, implement a system, and then allow it to work. And from Kaska's leadership, we draft this strategic framework committee, for which I was voted in as the chairman. And then we put together a framework in which we operate. And within that framework, there are 5 pillars. And the number one is education. And I'm glad you asked that question, because in our framework, it speaks to the student athlete. It simply means that for a boy to come into the program, or a young man, he has to always be reminded that he's a student first. And it simply means that your academics come first. And therefore, ISA has a minimum standard in which, we hold them to. It's a 45 grade average with an 80% attendance to class. And therefore, if they're not meeting that particular standard, then automatically they won't be qualified. We push them to meet the school grade average, which is about 55. And therefore, we have boys within the program who will perform academically well, but we also have boys that are performing unacceptable. And therefore, if those boys that are performing academically well, we can foresee that these boys are going to sit the CAPE and the CXC, then we provide those assistants to them. And the framework also speaks to an academic council in which was formulated, and that comprises of all many senior teachers, within about 5 or 6 or 7 senior teachers. Now, those teachers will have extra classes. Those teachers will monitor these boys, give us feedback on a timely manner. Those boys who are falling back in the classes and not, managing the subject area in particular well, they will organize extra classes for those boys. For the boys who will play football and miss those contact time or those hours, they will arrange for those boys to get back those hours. They will also assist and aid in helping these boys who are sitting in the CXE to, help them to prepare their SBAs. And so therefore, and once, if there is a boy in sixth form that will sit in the Cape, we'll also have that particular student sit the SAT. So therefore, if there's an opportunity for a scholarship or just to matriculate to university locally, I mean, well, not locally, but overseas, they can take up that opportunity easily. So we try as best as possible to keep them focused on the academics, because they are good players and they tend to push the academics aside and want to just focus on the football. But it's for us to continue to remind them about, the academics and how important it is.
Yes, and that's good. And that's what we're talking about. It's the total student, I'll put it that way, right? And not just playing football, but also academic. So we have an all-rounded a student at the end of their high school years. And I think that's what most people always kind of think about. I know in my days, it seemed to be like the football players, academics wasn't their thing, and most of them kind of fall by the wayside when it comes to academics. But it's good, as you mentioned, those 5 pillars are in place, and the academic one is there to meet the standards, which is really good, and that's what alums want to see, that we are catering to the total student, not just the football side, but also the academics. And you mentioned something interesting there, in terms of when it comes to higher education, that they're in the right frame in terms of academic and sport. And I always wonder what happened to football players after they leave high school. I know a small percentage may make it to one of the clubs here in Jamaica, or even abroad on a scholarship or some professional level. But in terms of the players that have gone through, since you've been there, part of the leadership team, do you guys keep in contact with them? Do you guys kind of help to steer them maybe to a professional team in Jamaica? Well, do you keep in contact? Because some persons ask that question, and I figure we'll pose that question to you guys and let me know.
Well, being as Kaska as the manager, and he's the one that deals directly with that aspect of it. So Kaska, speak to that aspect.
Yes, well, yes, Sir Farquharson and everybody. Now, Mr. Howell just made mention of the academic / disciplinary council that is operating within our framework. We have a target. Now. I'll start there first, just one line. That all the boys that we have now that are, let's say, first form, second form, right? That matriculation and that graduation rate, by the time those boys are completing their formal education at STATS, we want to get close to 100% of that, with at least 3 subjects. And for them, they're good at football, obviously, to be in a position to compete, not only on the field, but in the classroom, right, for these scholarships, right? Or when you make these introductions, the preparation in terms of what their transcript looks like over time and so on, is solid enough. That is also a competitive base that we need to improve upon, right? And that will continue in terms of the academic council year in, year out, including even the summers. We were good with that this year, and we want it to continue, and it is active now as well. As it relates to the boys, or the young men, are now men, I should say, that have passed through the program, yes, we are proud to say that we are very much in contact with most, if not all, of them that have come through the program. Give God thanks, all success stories, they're all better off for that opportunity, as far as I know, and grateful. And they continue to have interest and support the programs that gifted them that opportunity, I say so. So we need more of that. I want more of that. I just came off the phone this morning with my 2015 captain, Von Kelly. He's doing his master's now, but he's actually involved in an internship kind of work study program that has him still participating in football, but football at a different level, right? National champion at Division II level in the States last year. So his coach is coming to a showcase as well in January. And I can use him as a part of the story. What we're trying to do, or what he's going to help us to do now, because COVID kind of slowed down, right, and separated a lot of contacts, to be honest with you, with a lot of overseas coaches, right, that we would have been in contact with who maybe have shifted to other schools and so on, you know. And again, we have been offered scholarship opportunities that we have not been able to take again in the past because, again, the academic profile, right, would not allow for primarily what you're hunting is full scholarships, are as close to full as possible, because it is an expensive venture. And when you send them or they get the chance and go over there, sometimes the experiences have been not so pleasant, you know, because they're partial and need a help same way they have to, you know, sometimes do less subjects. I mean, help to support themselves, you know, but it comes with the territory as well. You know, so as I mentioned, Vaughn, and I just use him. Years ago, out of one of the contacts that I had made over the years, their ID camps, college showcase camps. So this is also a part of the program. We have to create profile videos, football-like resumes for these boys. Put them through testing programs which speak to agility and speed and change in weight, a whole document that has to be put together. Coaches ask for these things, right? And outside of seeing the highlight film, and I guess the fact that we have been somewhat, you know, successful across programs in recent years, right? There is no way that if you come into Jamaica to recruit, you can bypass stats. Obviously, we know the benchmark programs over the history, like the Jamaica College and KC and so on, right? But we are definitely no longer on the periphery with that. But we want to be able to galvanize that. So we want to send a couple boys this year. We graduate 3 out of this Manning Cup team to an ID camp or ID camps sometime between January and March, where they'll get themselves to showcase, get the opportunity to showcase themselves for other colleges at these ID camps, because that, in the past, these ID camps is what has given some of the boys the opportunity to earn scholarships, if you understand, right? So we want to get back along that road. But, you know, I think for the most part, I mean, we are, since the 2017 or the start of the framework, we're about 17 strong on scholarship that have gone and graduated since that time out of this football program, taking away the year or two that we didn't compete in COVID. So one of the aspects that I know everybody in the committee and the school and so on are very proud of, right? Members of your chapter and Northeast are also in dialogue with some of them, and, you know, I've helped to support them in the holiday periods in the States and so on, you know, financial support as well. You know what I mean? The weather is not the same as Jamaica, so, you know, it go.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
A jacket and boot and all kind of thing.
Oh, yes.
You know, but we give thanks, but yes, we want more of that. We want more of that, and we're definitely working towards that. Yeah, but for the most part, those, as I know it, are all success stories coming out of the program.
And that's good. That's good. And that's what, you know, we want to hear. And that's what, you know, we see as being successful when, you know, young men can, you know, leave the program and, you know, find a door in, you know, university scholarship, you know, even if it's, you know, a partial scholarship, and even better if it's a full scholarship. And even if they're not able to, they can, you know, further their education somewhere, but at least, you know, you guys are in touch with them and know that they have the support system. And I know for us, for the chapter, we have supported students who have gone on to higher education, and just helping them out because they need the help. They need the help, and it's important to help them not just during school, during their school football time, but also when they leave school. And it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference, and that's good. We could go on and on, but I know our time has expired in terms of the time that we have allotted. And so I just want to, thank you, gentlemen, for being here, for letting us into your lives in terms of personal life, professional life.
Just for you, Canada shooters, I big up to a few persons because they have worked closely with them.
Yes,
Yeah, man.
yes. You know what? I'm going to give you the opportunity to do that
in
a minute's time. And for our audience here, just want to let you know you can contact the Stats chapter, as I said, stats.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and you can contact us and we can relay the messages to Mr. Jones, Mr. Howell. We'll be in contact with them. And as a chapter, we have supported the football program over the years, and we'll continue to do that. And but we need everyone's help to do that. As Mr. Jones said, in terms of finance, that's the biggest one in terms of the food program, because they need the nutrition. They can't play, if they don't have the proper nutrition. And it's a 12-month, a season. It's not just, from August to December. It's a 12-month season. So remember that when you give. And so, Mr. Howell, let's go with you first, and give you a opportunity to shout out to a couple of friends and people there.
Yeah, man. Over the years, we have some persons that work closely with us. I mean, first and foremost, it is in Canada, so we have to big up Sophia. It's great. Yeah, but she has been a tower of strength for us from the Canadian chapter. So you guys, a big thank you, man. Can't go without bigging up the New York chapter, Mano. The real boss, you understand, and the others, Mr. Archibald and the team down there in New York, who have continued to support us and work with us, communicate with us on a regular basis. Down in Miami, Mr. Concrete and the crew. I mean, those we get calls from those gentlemen day in, day out, and Mrs. Concrete, you understand, who have been asking, how is it? What do you guys need? What we can do and everything. So the enthusiasm, everything. The local chapter, Mrs. Jones, as I would say, super mom. I mean, she has been a tower of strength, And how can I not big up the management team, Kaska, Sir Thompson, the other star committee members, the coaching staff. I mean, the other staff that help keep this afloat. Myself and Jones, we are the voice now, but it is a whole network of persons that help to produce this level of success and consistency that you guys are seeing. So, Jones, believe out anybody?
Yeah, and I echo the same sentiments and the same the folks there. I mean, managers now within the program locally. I mean, much respect to Miss Annette Dobson, one of the newest members to our team, real top administrator and key figure in the program. Christopher Davis, part of the 87 Manning Cup team, who is also helping with managing the U14 program now. Kevin Daly, as and obviously Adrian Thompson, also managing in the program completely across all levels as well, right? And I don't want to leave out anybody. Leonard Anderson, call him Zoto, is everybody's assistant. I can't leave him out because he's been there with us from long before this time. And I mean, not only supporter, facilitator, I mean. And the coaches as well. Coach Williams, Coach Bennett, HOD, Sir Conroy Amali as well. Active in the committee, but I want to let the others in the diaspora know as well that we presently have 2 coaches in our program that are 2 former captains of the Manning Cup team. Trey Salmon at the under-14 level, captain in O11, and Jedine White, who is a goalkeeper coach across all programs. I was captain in 017 and 18. There with us. pushing as well and giving back of their time, you know, to the program. So, you know, if I have left out anyone, my apologies on behalf of the
Mr.
committee and
Lawrence,
everybody. But
the VP, and of course
yes,
our principal, Dr. Ebert, you know, Mr. Farai, you know, those
the
persons
leadership,
who are
as
the
well.
leadership of the school. Yeah.
Yes, yes, we can't leave them out, you know, principal, vice
Yeah.
principal. And to everyone else, alums and supporters of the program, we thank you. And we thank you, Mr. Jones, Mr. Howell, for being a part of the program today. And we wish the Manicop team now, you know, a success. And I think everyone is cheering them on. Everyone is energized. Everyone is standing to support. We're just, you know, taking every game as we get them. And this year we're open for success of lifting the Manning Cup. So, you know, that's where we are. The expectation is high, and we know the guys are putting the work, are prepared, and we want to see them achieve that goal and put us back at where we belong at the top. So,
Yes.
you know, so thank you,
Thank you.
gentlemen. Thank you for giving us some information there and share with us, you know, the program and in and outs. And we know that the support will be there. So from Canada here to the rest of the alumni around the world, thank you, Mr. Jones. Thank you, Mr. Howell. And catch us
Thank you.
on our next program. So from Canada here, we tell you, have a good evening. Bye.
Yeah, man. Most appreciated. Yeah, man.